Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're going to go over our transfer plans ahead of Game Week 10, where we discuss how we've got on so far, look at some weak points in the team, and then we'll have a look at how we're going to use our transfers coming into the next game week. If you do enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also click the notification bell to not miss out on any future uploads. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So quickly just taking a look at how we've got on so far in Game Week 9 and also discussing some weak points in the teams, some players that we're looking to get out in the next couple of game weeks as they've not been performing recently or don't have the best fixtures coming up. Overall, so far this week, we have scored 72 points. There is still that Leicester fixture to go where we don't have any players in this one. So we've already seen around 100k red arrow, down to 710k as pretty much outside of Erling Haaland getting 46 points on captaincy. The team hasn't seen too much joy elsewhere. Trippier did provide 7 points at the back. I'm really happy with him. He's not going anywhere in the squad. Kane got himself a goal up top for Toney, which was nice to see, and Martinelli did contribute an assist, but then also got a yellow card in that one and going down to 4 points. So overall, a lot of blanks around the squad, and there is definitely a lot of players on the chopping board that we're looking to move on in the next 2 to 3 game weeks, especially with a couple of fixture swings before we get that second wildcard available in game week 16. So after going through the Game Week 9 squad, let's have a look at a couple of players that we are looking to replace in the team. The first one here is Heung-min Son. Obviously, he was very impressive for us last week when we did get him in on the wild card in Game Week 8. I believe he got 19 points in that game week with a hat-trick. Does blank in Game Week 9, and then Tottenham's fixtures aren't the best from now until Game Week 16, and definitely a mixed bag of games. They do have Bruyne this week as well, who are generally a fairly solid defensive outfit. Obviously, they did concede 3 goals to Liverpool this week, but outside of that, they've conceded one of the lowest goals in the Premier League amongst all teams. So let's have a look at some Son replacements. The first one here is Mo Salah. He's coming in at £12.8 million. He's probably the leading contender for this Son replacement spot. As for me, looking at those fixtures come Game Week 12, they are quite nice for Liverpool with West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Leeds as 3 of those fixtures in a row. 2 of those matches are at home as well. They also have Manchester City at home in Game Week 11, where Salah did score that very good goal in this fixture last season. He did get an assist in his most recent game as well in Game Week 9 and also got a goal in his most recent Champions League game. So I'm hoping he can continue this form over the next couple of game weeks because he's still putting up good underlying stats. He's just been slightly underperforming these at the moment. But we know how efficient Mo Salah can be when he plays from past seasons. He does have a 3.16 XG, which does actually rank pretty highly amongst midfielders. Saying this though, he has only returned 2 goals, so once again they're just underperforming the XG a little bit. Otherwise, looking at the assist front, he still has attempted the most assists out of any player by quite some way, which is good to see. Obviously contributing yet another assist last game week, bringing his assist tally to quite a few so far this season already. Obviously, Arsenal and Manchester City as the next 2 fixtures aren't ideal. We'll have to see in the squad whether we look to get in Salah this week because we have saved up 2 free transfers going into Game Week 10. It's just essentially whether we jump on him now or wait until Game Week 12 to get on him. I am tempted to get on him now and hopefully capitalise on a price rise early and hope that he does perform well in the next 2. As for me, Son in the next 2 game weeks also doesn't have the easiest fixtures, obviously with Brighton this week as well. And the underlying stats, Salah does significantly outperform Son. Son obviously was very clinical for his hat-trick in Game Week 8, but outside of this game hasn't provided too much of an attacking threat for Tottenham, so maybe going to Mo Salah now could be the best strategy going forward. Kevin De Bruyne is another one on the radar. Yes, he does blank in Game Week 12, but he keeps producing returns for Manchester City. He does have an extremely high expected assist figure. It is actually the highest amongst all players in the league so far this season with 4.54, and he is the leading assister with 8 assists as well, which is absolutely immense. He's giving Erling Haaland so much service, and we saw in the most recent Manchester derby that this combination is linking up so much for Manchester City. He is a 0.5 million cheaper than Mo Salah, so it is slightly easier to get into the team. We don't have to make as many downgrades to be able to get Kevin De Bruyne in. He's got Southampton at home as his next fixture, which is a very tempting game. So maybe we could go Son to De Bruyne as a sort of 2-week punt and then switch to Salah. We'll have to see how the team's set up. Obviously, Mitrovic's injury as well will play into that, whether he's going to be out for a while. because if he is out, then we're going to have to prioritise that transfer there rather than looking at this Son replacement. Pretty much we could bench Kevin De Bruyne game week 12 if we would like, and then play him every other week, because according to Fantasy Football Fix, behind Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne still has the second or third highest expected FPL points over the next 6 game weeks, even with this blank fixture in game week 12. As pretty much outside of this game week, the fixtures are looking very good for Manchester City, and their attacking form recently has been so impressive, obviously getting 6 goals in their most recent game. So with Southampton, Brighton, Leicester and Fulham as 4 out of the next 6 game weeks, definitely plenty of points potential for Kevin De Bruyne. So if we wanted to take the risk of having him sit on the bench for game week 12 and then bringing him back after that, that is always an option as well. Looking to a more mid-price option in Maddison, this would allow for more money to be spent around the squad as well, and potentially upgrade another player in the team and just go for the 2 premiums of Kane and Haaland up top right now, which is currently what the squad is looking like. Maddison could be a very nice pick. At the time of recording, he is still yet to play in game week 9. He's got a very good fixture against Nottingham Forest in that one, and then after that it's Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leeds and Wolves, so definitely some very, very good fixtures for Leicester City coming up, and I do think Maddison could perform quite well in this period and prove to be very good value at £8 million. His underlying stats have been fairly decent, considering that he's only played roughly 6 games for Leicester. He's produced 3 goals and 1 assist so far, which is just over 0.5 score involvements per game, which is pretty good for a player of his price. And with these very good fixtures coming up, he could potentially match the big premium midfielders for points from now until game week 16. He does actually have the 5th highest expected FPL points out of any player from now until game week 16, so definitely a very, very tempting option to get through on transfers, as he was a very popular option on the wildcard. For anyone that did use the wildcards in game week 8 and 9, I would have said him and Zaha were the 2 more popular mid-price midfielders, so it could be a great way to get Maddison in, as obviously Son to Maddison is an easy transfer to make, and he's got great points potential from now until the next wildcard becomes available. So after looking at some Son replacements, let's have a look at another Tottenham player that we're looking to get out of the squad. It is Harry Kane. This is an option that does, if we do downgrade him, it does allow us to get Mo Salah in a lot easier when we do want to capitalise on those Liverpool fixtures. We could either go for De Bruyne or Salah in the midfield from game weeks 12 or 13 onwards. Both have been pretty good picks recently. Salah is sort of finding some form in his last couple of matches, as we touched on previously. So let's have a look at some Kane replacements that would allow us to free up money around the squad. The first one here is Ollie Watkins. He's coming in at £7.2 million with some very good fixtures coming up. He actually has produced fairly decent underlying stats, and he did look pretty threatening once again in his Leeds fixture in game week 9. He was making lots of runs in behind, and he was getting some pretty good service from his teammates. So if he can hold down that starting position over Danny Ings and striker, he could prove to be a very nice pick for Aston Villa as well. Looking at some of their fixtures, very strong fixtures, especially in the next 4, with Nottingham Forest away, Chelsea at home, which at the moment isn't the worst fixture from an attacking standpoint, then Fulham away and Brentford at home. So it could be a very nice differential, as his ownership is sitting very low right now. He's produced a 2.5 XG, but only scored 1 goal, so he is definitely getting the chances for Aston Villa to score, and hopefully with these fixtures, he can start putting more goals on the score sheet and prove to rival some of the other mid-price forwards right now that are a lot more higher owned, which we are going to discuss a bit later here as the other Kane replacements. The other one here is Dominic Solanke. He's coming in at £5.7 million, another differential to have in the team. I saw a couple of wildcard drafts with him in the squad, and he could be a nice budget enabler as well, as he would free up around £6 million in the bank if we did go Kane down to Solanke, which could easily see us afford even a mid-price player such as Martinelli up to Mo Salah, and we could still hold the triple premiums if we liked. For me, Dominic Solanke could be a very nice pick as well. Up next, he's got Leicester at home, which is arguably the best fixture in the game right now from an attacking standpoint due to how poor Leicester's defence have been. And at home, hopefully Dominic Solanke could do something in front of that home crowd. His underlying stats haven't been crazy so far, just a 0.57 xG with 1 goal, but his recent form has been pretty impressive for them. I believe he picked up a goal and an assist in his match to Fulham, so if he can recapture some of that form, Bournemouth once again do have the fixtures for him to perform quite well until the next wildcard becomes available. And of course, he is a lot cheaper than a couple of the other popular options, such as Toney or Mitrovic, who is injured at the moment, but we'll have to see how long he's out for. Obviously, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton next 3, then West Ham, Tottenham, Leeds. Definitely a very decent batch of the next six fixtures for him. So if Bournemouth can give him some more service up top, I'm sure he could prove to be a nice pick there. And then looking at Toney as well, despite blanking in game week 9, I was still very impressed by his performance. His 6 shots do rank amongst the top players so far this game week. One of these was on target, and his XG was pretty high as well. It was sitting around 0.76, which I believe after Erling Haaland's performance now puts him at around 6th or 7th for XG so far this game week. His overall XG is also very impressive with 4.1, which is very, very high for a player of his price. And he's already recorded 5 goals as well, so definitely putting it on the score sheet, which is good to see. And after a couple of trickier fixtures there for Brentford, I would say the run gets a little bit easier with Newcastle away, Brighton at home, Chelsea at home, and then Aston Villa, Wolves, and Nottingham Forest. So definitely another very, very nice pick. He's proven to be a very consistent performer across the season. He's shown what he can do last season, so it's definitely a bit more certainty around Toney when comparing him to the other options on this list in Watkins and Solanke, just because we know what he's capable of and he's done it for a longer period. Brentford are a very solid side as well. He's getting plenty of service from his teammates, which kind of makes him a more appealing option than Solanke, because obviously with Bournemouth's team, you can't always rely on them giving Solanke the same amount of service that Brentford would give Toney. And I do think as far as forward options go, Toney does actually have one of the highest expected FPL points from now until game week 16. So it could prove to be a very nice pick at around a 25% ownership right now. We also have a little bit of money in the bank. So with Mitrovic in the team currently, if he is ruled out, maybe he could turn into a Mitrovic replacement as well, spending a little bit extra, around £0.3 million extra to make this upgrade, and then look to downgrade Son to someone else in the midfield as we listed previously, and then potentially upgrade the defender as well if we wanted to get Trent Alexander-Arnold into the team. I'm a little bit more hesitant about bringing Trent Alexander-Arnold in as well, just saying that due to Liverpool's poor defensive form recently, they can't really get it sorted out at the back. So maybe if Mitrovic is out, we go Mitrovic to Toney and then downgrade Son and keep Kane in the side, but we'll have to see how things play out. Thanks for watching today's transfer plans for Game Week 10. If you guys found this video useful and enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel. Also leave a comment if you are preferring the new facecam style of videos, as they have been recently integrated into the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell to not miss out on any future uploads. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.